You see, opportunities fly away just like that. As young minds, at this phase of your life, maximizing opportunities should be at the front line for you. This is not the time to say no, to reject, or to turn things down. And I will explain. Just stay with me, because in this video, I'll be sharing with you how you can maximize opportunities without selling yourself short, without devaluing yourself, losing your self-worth, and at the same time, maximizing every opportunity that comes your way in such a way that it makes you the best and sets you at the center of an advantage in everything that you do. If you're ready for this, let's dive right into it. Hola fam, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you are welcome. My name is Akorede, and you can call me Kore. Here it's all about intentional living, encouraging you to embrace the power in your story and your uniqueness, and as well owning it. In this episode of Navigating Your Youth series, I'll be sharing with you how you can maximize opportunities without you losing yourself, without devaluing yourself or selling yourself short. Number one thing you need to do is you need to be open and be willing to learn from anyone at every given time. So while you're maximizing the opportunity to learn at every given time, one thing you should do, I've said it a couple of times in one of my videos in the past, is a strategy that I have that I use because I'm one person that is very curious. And one strategy I've been able to use to curb my curiosity, especially when I feed my curiosity, is that I have a sieve, an imaginary sieve in my head. When people tell me something or when I learn something from people, one thing I do is that I put everything in that imaginary sieve and I begin to sieve it out, like what is useful here, and take the ones I feel they are valuable to me and it aligns with my person, my value system, or it aligns with what I believe is right in that perspective, you know. So yeah, I then use that imaginary sieve, I sieve it out, and I throw every other thing that is just not useful to me, I throw it away. But every opportunity you get to learn something, to know something, to be impacted in, open your ears, you know, listen, you know, learn, be curious, ask questions. But after, don't forget your imaginary sieve, sieve out anything that's not useful and let it go. That way you're not losing, but instead, girl, you're winning, boy, you're winning. Another thing is, early on, establish yourself as a thought leader. Now I'll explain. What it means to establish yourself as a thought leader is you starting early and being on people's radar. How? Everything that you believe, that you are passionate about, that you're good at, even if you're still on the learning stage, present yourself to everyone you come across as someone who knows and values that thing that you know. Probably you walk into a room and be like, you're meeting people and you're trying to introduce yourself, or you're having a conversation with someone and be like, I'm actually a student at the voiceover this, and I'm trying to learn how to speak well, you know, just to help my communication skills better. Do you know what that does for you in terms of maximizing opportunities? When such a person finds themselves in a situation where they need someone with a good communication skill, they think of you first. So you establishing yourself as a thought leader is in terms of you just presenting everything that you believe that you're good at, learning to be good at. Just always push it at the forefront. So when there are opportunities, people think of you first. People remember you, that, oh, that girl that speaks so well. Oh, that girl that told me she was training her voice at a voiceover school. Oh, let's call her. Girl, can you do this? Oh yeah, I can do this. Okay, then come. Early on in everything that you do, there's a decision that needs to be made, and be like, oh, that girl is not really good enough. Somebody in the room will be like, oh no, she's actually willing to learn. Don't worry, she's gonna handle it. I trust her. Oh, I can stand for her. I can vouch for her. That is what that does for you. Don't tell anybody, it's between us, okay? Something about that I didn't mention is that while you are establishing yourself as a thought leader, social media is a very good tool to do that. Because sometimes you might not have the opportunity to say everything to people. But when you are in that corner, your social media platform or what you're putting on the internet will speak for you. Especially when there are different options of people that they want to come on board, and then they'll be like, you know what, this thing is getting too difficult. Let's just try to see, does these people really deserve this thing? Let's check them out. Let's see what they've been able to do outside the walls of this opportunity that is open. And then they search for you guys. Now, the first mistake that a lot of young minds make is that your name, the name, your professional name and the name you use on social media, they are contradicting. So when opportunities come, people might not find you. They'll just be looking for Charles Desmond, but on social media, you are CD. oh God, I'm enjoying this so much. And then they come on your profile and they're saying they're not gonna find you because on your profile all they can see is your professional name. So one thing you can do for yourself is across your social media platforms, especially if you understand the sphere you work or the sphere you are in. And now all these things I'm sharing are veered towards your career, basically, you know, and anything that you find yourself doing. I think you should just be intentional about everything. What you use social media to do when you are absent, when you're not saying anything, you have something that can speak for you. You have a proof that can speak for your personality, your skills, what you're good at, what you're passionate about, what you love. You don't have to do it like putting out all your life on social media, but on the professional side of it, things that you know that can speak for you when you're absent in the room. Those are the things you should do differently when it comes to social media and establishing yourself as a thought leader. Be very careful the kind of names you use, and as well the kind of things you post, you know, create a good social proof to establish yourself as a thought leader. A lot of people have misconceptions about this next point. It is, now that you have the freedom, make sacrifices and take risks. You might ask me, what kind of sacrifices, girl, are you talking about? You might get an opportunity that is not paid. That is sacrifice. That is you sacrificing money for experience. I was working in a particular place and I wasn't cool working in that environment. Working in that environment was taking a lot from me. There was progress and there was also setbacks, you know. So I was working in a well-structured organization, and then I come here and you're telling me to, I don't want to do this. But guess what? The opportunities I was getting in that organization, I can't get it elsewhere. The freedom, the opportunity to do what I wanted to do, you know, to explore and express my creativity. If I worked in another organization, I wouldn't get that freedom. So the sacrifice in that phase of my life was I'm working in this environment. Yes, I know that these are the things I don't like about this environment, but instead of settling, why not be the change in that environment and at the same time get all I need to get out of this environment as well. Sometimes choose to sacrifice some of your desires for what is more important at that phase of your life. Maximize the opportunity by looking at the bright side. What am I getting out of it? What am I losing? If I leave here, what will I lose? What will I gain? Another way you can maximize opportunity by sacrificing and taking risks is to offer yourself. I know this might sound tricky. Oh, people will take me for granted. If I offer myself to people, people will just be tossing me around. Yes, let them toss you around. Let them take you for granted. Let them do whatever they want to do. But the question is, what are you getting out of that season? What is that season teaching you? That season can be teaching you patience, long suffering. That season can be teaching you how to love people no matter how badly they treat you. That season can be teaching you how not to treat people. That season is teaching you something. Look, we'll just pay attention. You know, serve without asking, oh, what is in it for me? Serve. That's how to maximize opportunities. Yes, serve people, honor people. When you leave that season of your life, when you get to the next phase or the next season, you realize that some things that you took out of that season that was really dread and hurtful, it left good things in you that will be useful for you in your next season. But the negative side is, don't stay too long there. Know when to say no. Know when to now put much more value in yourself. Give yourself away. I give myself away so you can use me. In church, in your society, in your community, everywhere you find yourself, be that go-to person. It's teaching you leadership. It is teaching you a lot of things. Be less afraid to approach anybody. Mentors, professionals, celebrities, leaders, anybody. Imagine you are in a room and you see someone that you respect so much in your sphere or in your career path, and the only thing that stopped you from walking towards that person to ask you a question was just fear. At this young phase of your life, be fearless to approach anybody. Another way you can maximize opportunities is to stay in touch along the way. You know, like I said, you know, go for this, go for that, you know, connect with people, serve. While you're serving, while you're doing all these things, you are meeting people. You're connecting with people from different spheres of the world. One way you can actually maximize the opportunity of meeting those people or doing these things is to stay in touch. Have their numbers, have their email address, collect their cards. I have a card pouch. Like, there's nothing I'm telling you that I've not tried before. I have a card pouch that I still have here. Then anywhere I go, I always ask people for their contact and they give me their card. That time cards were still, you know, a big deal. So collect their cards. You never know when it will be useful for you. Guess what? I said in my third year, I connected with a lot of people, I had their cards and all of that. 2 years after, I became a TV presenter and I needed to invite people for my show, right? Guess what? The first place I turned to look for guests was those cards. Because those cards are cards of MDs, directors, speakers at events that I went to meet that I couldn't really have much conversations with, but I just said, you know what, can I just have your card? You know, those things came in handy years later or 2 years later when I became a TV presenter. So I went back to those cards and I said, I called in, hi sir, my name is Akorede. I met you at this event. Oh yeah, that's true, I was there. He did not remember me, but he remembered that he was at that event. Guys, y'all should give me my coin. Like, no, my dollars actually. You know, you see how it works, right? So when you are doing all these things, it's not a waste. You're not wasting your time. It might come in handy at any given time. So it's more or less like you are preparing yourself for opportunity. Imagine I meet Barack Obama now. I'll walk up to him, ask him for his card, his PA's number, whatever I can get from him. Because I never can tell, tomorrow now I might want to do something and it might be the best person to be at the forefront of what I want to do. At the end of the day, probably you will say no or you will say yes. Anything can happen. In you staying in touch as well, you don't have to wait till you need something from them. It could just be you dropping a Happy New Year message or Happy New Month message or Happy New Week message once in a while. How you doing? Or you find something, just stay in touch. However, what stay in touch means to you, stay in touch. Never be afraid to keep trying. In you maximizing opportunities, you have to have that never giving up spirit. Not everybody has that trait. Not everybody has that willingness to still try when they fall. So no matter how much you fail, still see the beauty in that season and maximize the opportunities that you can extract from that season. I hope with these few words of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that you need to maximize opportunities at every given time. You never can tell. You don't know when the big break will come, so you have to be at alert to maximize every opportunity you get and don't take them for granted. Don't feel too entitled to things. See that as an opportunity and honor that opportunity with your everything. All right, thank you guys for listening to me. I hope this made sense to you. I hope it was value to you. Please do make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much guys for listening. I'll see you all on the next one. Don't forget to make peace at all times, spread love and be. Bye for now.